This next clip starts off intensely as we see a shocking and disturbing sight being recorded by terrified tourists during a safari tour.
To free himself from the leopard's jaws, Curtis takes evasive action.
The victim tries his best to free his hand from the leopard's jaws, and eventually succeeds in doing so. The Jeep also begins to reverse, causing the animal to get caught in its wheels, almost getting half of its body crushed. Despite this, the animal remains persistent and refuses to leave the tourists alone, leaving the driver no choice but to do this.
He has to drive over it. He's got to drive over it. Drive over it. Oh, he's killed it. No.
Unlike most animals that run away and hide when they are wounded, leopards actually become more aggressive and therefore more dangerous. The video states the man received treatment for his injuries, while the animal was euthanized. While filming in Botswana, South Africa, a BBC film crew got the experience of a lifetime after a horrifying leopard attack. The clip begins with Richard Jones, a cameraman for BBC's Spy in the Wild series, attempting to track a pack of wild dogs. After a long time of scouting, the camera crew eventually spots a pack of dogs antagonizing an enormous and angry male leopard.
A male leopard.
Coming this way.
Richard senses trouble.
The large animal proceeds to climb the trees to avoid the wild dogs, but just as they thought it was over, the leopard looks at the crew and does this.
Then it happens.
Hey, go away! Why?
The cameraman drops the camera out of fear, but due to Richard's experience and quick thinking, the crew managed to get out of this encounter alive. The beginning of this encounter shows a leopard hiding inside a small rock formation, angry and afraid after being cornered by hunters. Never make the mistake of lowering your guard after cornering a predator, as they are at their most dangerous when left with nowhere to escape. He walks closer to the predator, confident that it has been severely weakened and is easy prey for them. Unfortunately, his judgment was way off, and in turn he pays a very terrifying and heavy price for his negligence. Thankfully, they eliminated the predator just before it got the chance to bite his neck. The clip begins with a large crowd gathering to watch a large leopard that they saw near a road in India. The crowd was divided into two groups, with the other directly in front of the first group, both shouting and trying to scare the animal. One of the groups then tries to walk on the far side of the predator, doing their best not to get too close. They manage to get halfway, but before they can continue any further, something extremely shocking happens. It will make you scream as well. After escaping the predator, the others climb up trees, not knowing that leopards are known to drag their prey high up trees. It's unclear what happened to the victims of these attacks, but we can only hope they were okay. The beautiful city of Nashik, India became a frenetic and passing hotspot after its residents spotted a large and aggressive leopard roaming the city's streets. The clip shows rescuers standing outside the gates of a house while holding a net to catch the animal roaming around the city. Minutes later, an enormous leopard reveals itself and does something truly horrifying. After successfully catching the animal, the crowd can be seen trying to beat the animal while cops and rescuers do their best to stop the aggressive crowd. Luckily, neither the leopard nor the people were seriously injured during the encounter. A leopard can be seen clawing at a photographer's boots, investigating the photographer and seemingly trying to entice a reaction from him. Leopards are normally elusive and secretive, so this encounter is very surprising, as these animals do not normally show themselves to humans. The photographer can't do anything but stay still, as any sudden movement may provoke this very unpredictable animal. This whole encounter is being observed by a few spectators, enjoying the comfort and safety of their cars, but still cognizant of the danger. The clip ends abruptly, but it seems like the animal eventually left them alone. A team made to drive a leopard away from a village grew to hundreds when the task proved to be more dangerous than expected. This adrenaline-pumping clip starts off with a group of men attempting to drive away a leopard hiding in the fields with the help of firecrackers. The encounter escalates when some of the men chase after the leopard in the jungle, leaving it no choice but to fight back. Despite this, the men continue charging, showing no regard for their safety, but the predator does not back down and proceeds to do something terrifying. Thankfully, the clip cuts to showing the leopard finally being caught and transported in a cage while hundreds of locals cheer on. A group of forest rangers can be seen surrounding a sedated leopard to relocate it, but things go south when out of nowhere this happens. The ranger tries his best to fight back, which he successfully does, as the animal was already sedated and not at its peak form. A non-sedated leopard could have easily maneuvered its way through the man's shield and stick if its senses were at 100%. Moments later, the predator lies down as it has a hard time standing up, which gives the rangers the opportunity to sedate it once more. They eventually manage to fully sedate it, and now they can relocate it safely. In northern Botswana, a safari tour went south after a tourist encountered a terrifying leopard that did the unexpected. This petrifying encounter starts with a man recording a leopard walking closer and closer to the truck where he and his tour guide are sitting. With the predator right beside his door, the man becomes rigid as he realizes the amount of danger he is in, when suddenly the animal decides to do this.
Ow. That kind of hurt.
Despite the animal scratching his leg, the man remains calm and collected, refusing to make any sudden moves that could escalate the situation and make things worse.
Watch my shoe. He's got my shoe.
Thankfully, the tour guide decides to turn the Jeep on, scaring the leopard away. A man plays with his big cats, which can be seen surrounding him, which is a terrifying yet amazing sight to see. The cats are all apex predators and are almost 3 times as big as him, yet he still manages to play and sit with them. He puts all his trust in the fact that his friends won't attack him, which makes him careless, turning his back on one of them. This proves to be the biggest mistake he has ever made, as not even a few minutes later, this happens. Thankfully, the tiger spares him just in time, and he is left unharmed. Tourists in Madikwe Private Game Lodge came across a terrifying sight after they caught an extremely protective mother leopard off guard. The heart-racing video picks up with the leopard bluff charging and threatening the tourists, recording it from afar. As they record the animal, despite it being aggressive, they eventually get the scare of a lifetime after it does this. Luckily, after a 1.5-minute encounter, the predator eventually loses interest in the tourists and proceeds to back off into the bushes. A leopard walks towards a car filled with a family of tourists planning to enjoy close encounters with different wild animals. The animal walks slowly towards the cars, looking uninterested at the noises and camera flashes coming from the tourists.
Don't make a noise.
It's right here. Can you see? Don't this. It's
Yes.
One of the kids then tells everyone to close their windows, which proves to be the right move, as a few seconds later, this happens.
He wants to jump in with. Yes, mommy! Yes!
Leopards are some of the fiercest and most courageous animals in the world, so the predator going for a car is not surprising. Fortunately, their windows were closed, leaving them unharmed from the attack. This freaky clip was shot by Felipe Mateni in partnership with the Vanishing Treasures program, and it features a close-up look at a very curious snow leopard. Beginning the video, the animal can be seen sneaking and approaching the camera slowly, keeping its eyes locked and glued to the camera at all times. As the animal gets close enough to the camera, it then decides to get a much closer look at the camera, inspecting it and doing this. Thanks to the leopard attempting to eat the camera, we can get a closer look at the inner workings of this terrifying predator's mouth and its sharp, long canines. The animal then sneaks away after hearing someone, ending the bone-chilling clip. This next encounter begins fairly normally, with a bunch of tourists recording and admiring a leopard minding its own business at a zoo.
Puppy.
At first, the animal can be seen just relaxing and cooling itself by lying on its back and panting, seemingly feeling hot. The tourists keep getting closer and closer to the fence, which agitates the already hot predator, making it do this. Animals get easily angered when they are hot and stressed, which explains the behavior of this particular predator. The fence protects the tourists, though, and they remain unharmed during the encounter. This terrifying encounter begins with a group of men recording a full-size adult leopard located only a few feet away from their truck. The animal, aware of the men recording it, proceeds to give them a scare after it suddenly decides to come get a closer look. Luckily, the predator does not give attention to the men and proceeds to walk away from the area completely. In the beginning of this terror-striking encounter, a man can be seen riding his bike alongside a road next to a thick jungle. The road seems to be a busy and well-developed road, which gives us the right to assume that it is safe from wild animal encounters. This couldn't be more wrong, as a few moments later something happens that is sure to leave a lasting impression. Predators rarely attack humans, but when these animals are injured, they are unable to hunt their usual prey and go for easy ones instead. The bike catches one of its legs, hurting it and making it abandon the attack. What was supposed to be just another late-night drive home became interesting after a group of friends got the idea of tracking down a leopard going about its own business. The clip starts as we see the friends driving around in a forest when they suddenly spot one of the leopards walking along the road up ahead. They eventually focus on tracking one leopard, and the whole experience is both majestic yet terrifying at the same time. Thankfully, the leopard does not do anything despite being followed by the group. Regardless, it is still a bone-chilling experience. A group of tourists in an open jeep witness a breeding between two large leopards, watching in awe and recording the whole thing. At first, everything seems to go as planned, but after the predators notice the uninvited guests, they quickly jump into action.
That was a money shot, man.
The person recording quickly tries to hide himself in the back of their truck, still refusing to stop recording. Being excellent jumpers, the leopard could have easily jumped into the back of the truck and attacked one of them. Luckily for them, it decides to only teach them about the importance of privacy and does not punish them too harshly. The group eventually left the leopards alone. A group of friends' ski adventure was halted after they came across an unexpected lurker stalking them in the thick snow. Skiing in the snowy mountains, the man recording the video traverses the woods confidently until he catches sight of something terrifying. The stalemate between the group and the snow leopard lasts almost a full 2 minutes until it was finally interrupted when the leopard does something unexpected. After a threatening charge, the predator retreats back into the woods and leaves the group alone to continue skiing in the snow. In this video, taken in the Masai Mara National Reserve, a curious cheetah is checking out this guy's vehicle. Did you know that cheetahs have semi-retractable claws? This nifty adaptation provides them with exceptional traction while sprinting and making sharp turns at high speeds. This greyhound of the desert proceeds to mount onto the hood of this person's car and then onto the roof. Displaying its breathtaking agility, the majestic cheetah gracefully leaps off the safari vehicle, giving tourists the opportunity to snap some awe-inspiring photographs. Startled, the cheetah bolts far from the group, disappearing into the distance. In April 2018, a group of men were tasked with the burden of releasing a snow leopard into the wild after they caught it in the village of Khyber, India. At the start of the video, a group of men can be seen surrounding a snow leopard in a cage and trying to drive it out into the wild. Moments later, and after tilting the cage downwards, they successfully drive the predator out of its cage, where they then follow and record it. Surprisingly, the animal does not instantly run away from the site. Instead, it strolls, staying dangerously near the group. After a while, the leopard eventually decides to run away, leaving no one harmed. The video begins with the vast savanna being recorded by a tourist or wildlife photographer, when out of nowhere, this happens. Why the leopard decided to show itself is unknown, but the best reason could be because it was nursing and her cubs were nearby. Animal mothers usually go to great lengths to protect their offspring, and will often take risks and show themselves to instill fear. After this, though, the leopard seems to immediately regret her decision and appears to return into hiding. Unfortunately, the clip cuts short, and what happens next is left to our imagination. A mesmerizing yet unnerving experience greeted a group of tourists after they got a close meeting with a large leopard on a safari. This adrenaline-inducing clip shows a few tourists following a leopard while it's walking around, most likely hunting for prey. The predator can repeatedly be seen approaching and going past the tourists' ride, leaving the tourists both amazed and yet terrified at the same time. The encounter ends with the leopard finally disappearing into the bush away from the tourists. A cheetah approached these wildlife explorers, leaving them shaking from a close encounter of the deadly beast.
Duma akasogea mbele yake.
Cheetahs are blisteringly fast and can reach speeds of up to 64 miles per hour in 3 seconds, making them the fastest terrestrial animals in the world. This fearsome predator approached the vehicle, startling the explorer with the close encounter.
Baadaye akachukua kifurushi ambacho kilikuwa kimebeba chakula cha watalii.
The swift beast grabbed the belongings of the explorers, who couldn't do anything about it, being helpless because of the danger if they retaliated.
Akishindwa atakiacha mbele, watakifuata.
The cheetah retreated, bringing along a souvenir from its deadly encounter. A leopard walks amongst people just trying to enjoy and dine at a restaurant located inside a forest. The animal can be seen just walking around the restaurant without bothering any customers directly, which is surprising. Wild animals are very good at sensing tension, so the people in the restaurant may have been really relaxed about having a predator walk around. The rest of the video just shows the predator walking around the restaurant and at one point getting a little too close for comfort. The leopard eventually leaves the restaurant without harming anyone or anything. Two men traveling by car encountered a snow leopard during their ride, which then proceeded to do something they did not expect. The video begins with the camera pointing to the horizon, showing the snow and the mountains, but something else is eventually revealed when the camera turns to the right. The animal proceeds to walk toward the men, shocking and scaring them both, yet they still keep recording footage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The whole encounter lasts almost 2 minutes, with the predator staying only a few inches away, inspecting them and not taking its eyes off the men. Fortunately, the animal loses interest and leaves after a while. A jeep cruising on a dirt road pulls to a stop after seeing this terrifying predator approaching in their direction. The leopard also stops, and they get into a standoff which could lead to a very bad result. Unfortunately, we are left guessing as to what happens next as the clip cuts short.